Confirmed cases of the coronavirus do continue to climb in Arizona, and leaders are taking more steps to try and protect people during this tough time.
Yeah, Team 12's Matt Yurus is live this morning outside the Arizona Department of Health Services. So, Matt, what's the governor saying lately?
Yeah, these policymakers and lawmakers staying flexible as this virus grows and develops itself. The governor's latest executive order now targeting to help small businesses and nonprofits. We're going to have more on that in just a moment. But first, we want to start with this latest batch of coronavirus numbers here. Unfortunately, it continues to climb up to 2,456 confirmed cases here in the state. That, of course, according to Arizona's Department of Health, that's 187 more cases than yesterday. Sadly, another person has died, bringing the state total to 65. More than half of those cases continue to be here in Maricopa County, 1,433 to be exact. The two groups most impacted in the county also remained 20 to 44-year-olds and seniors. Navajo Nation has been hit particularly hard, as we reported. According to its president, there are now 384 cases, up 30 from Sunday. One more person has died, bringing the total to 15 confirmed deaths. This weekend, a 57-hour mandatory curfew is in place because many people are not following the stay-at-home order. Violators will be fined, issued citations, and or detained. Finally, back to the governor's executive order here. It stops small businesses and nonprofit evictions during the outbreak. This order runs through the end of May. Again, this order runs through the end of May. Just a reminder, this stay-at-home order also goes through the end of this month. April will obviously continue to monitor that. And at 9 a.m., we get more numbers from the health department. Live in Phoenix, Matt Yurus, Today in AZ.